Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha Bean of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today, we have a special guest.
Kayleigh Walker. Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for doing this. I love talking to guests. And I think for me, I love just going back to the beginning, like, how it all started. So tell me a little bit about your childhood and what was that like growing up? And how did you kind of find your way into music?
Okay, so from a young age, I always did like modeling. I did some advertisements. So I always loved to be in front of a camera. I
Nice.
loved being like a performer. So from then, really, I got into performing arts. So I did quite a few like musical theatre, like projects on the side. And yeah, it just went from there, really. Just loved like music, loved performing. So from a child, I always kind of knew that that was my purpose in life.
I
Like I
love
was,
that.
yeah.
That you knew, like same for me. I knew. So I do film. I have a background in film. So like I just knew at a young age that I was like, Mom and Dad, I'm gonna be a filmmaker. Like that's what I want to do. So
Yeah,
that's awesome that you just knew that and you never stopped.
yeah, exactly. It's almost like I manifested it,
Yeah.
like from a young age. I'm a great believer of manifestation. And I think because I created this life before I even knew what the world was like,
Yeah.
and and I was like, yeah, I just think the power of thought went with that. I do believe the God's universe was on my side then from making that life decision.
I love that. Were your parents super like supportive of like the journey of music, like you getting into it?
My mum, 100%, yeah,
Awesome.
always. She was in every audition she took me to.
Aw.
My biggest fan still to this day.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. I feel like that is so important when you have that support, that like supportive aspect, because I mean, I can't imagine doing something so hard. I mean, it's a difficult business to get into, the entertainment business as a whole, and not having that support system that someone's like, hey, I'm rooting for you to like to do this or whatever. So that's awesome that you had that
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
really, really lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your song, and I love, first of all, I love the music video. It's super fun and just super creative. How, like, where did that come from? Talk about the
Okay,
process. And yeah, how did that
okay.
happen?
Yeah. So I was watching the Sharon Tate documentary on Netflix, and I loved that whole 60s vibe that she
Yeah.
had going on, even though it's a very dark, sad story behind it. And I was thinking, oh, like, I wonder what she must have been thinking during that time. And I thought, okay, so back in that time, and I realized, started doing like my research about the 60s and thinking about these psychedelic experiences people were having. And I thought, okay, how can I feel like I'm having a psychedelic feeling? So I started doing like meditation
Ah,
on
okay.
YouTube, just finding little things. And I loved that word, psychedelic. I think it's just, yeah, it can mean so much stuff. And yeah, and watching that documentary, I was like, okay, I'm going to mix this together and I'm going to see what I create. So I went into the studio. I said, I've got the word psychedelic. I said, can we just roll with that and see what happens? But I was visualizing my music video in the process,
Nice.
having it kind of quirky, not too 60s, but very unique, and having all the colors. So when it was writing, I was like, okay, psychedelic can mean anything. You can have a trip on just life itself because,
Yes.
yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make this a really cool word now and move it away from the 60s and make it very current. So
I
that's how I
love
got
that.
into it. Yeah.
I love that. No, I think, and it's, I mean, it's so fun. It's catchy. You're having a fun time. And I mean, visually, it's beautifully shot. Like, wow, like
Yeah.
gorgeous. Like, so good. Like the colors that you use, and just, it was really like trippy. I was going to ask, and maybe it's a little inappropriate, but have you ever taken any psychedelic?
No, never.
Good, good.
No, I don't do any of that. Like, no, like I said, I do it through meditation.
Right,
Like,
right.
yeah, I love doing the chakra balancing and finding like being in tune with myself, like spiritually.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I can have that experience like through meditation, like
Yeah.
lucid dreaming and stuff. Like, yeah. So no, I don't need drugs to never, never
Don't
will.
do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs.
Like, don't do drugs. Do
Not-
meditation.
Definitely meditation for sure. Well,
Mm.
there's this a friend of mine actually. There's this thing, and it's called ayahuasca. I don't know if you've heard of it, but they actually, I think it started in India, and they take psychedelics to kind of get in tune with your childhood self, like the part that, yeah, and it's like a 3-month long like thing, and it's a serious, like, my friend went, and she came back another person, and she was like, wow, I definitely recommend, I mean, they're not just taking psychedelics all the time, but there's like, there's
Yeah,
like exercises to like just healing that part of you, that we kind
yeah,
of forget.
that's amazing. Yeah, with the whole like healing thing, like, yeah, I think if like things are used properly
Yeah.
and you're with other people and it's controlled, I'm all for that. Yeah. They've been
Definitely.
doing it since like ancient like Egyptian time, haven't they? These
Yeah.
like, yeah. So
Forever,
it worked for
definitely.
them. Exactly.
That's so cool. So tell me a little bit about, like, your writing process. I mean, I have my process when I'm working on a project or film, and I'm very like, I critique my work. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for it. Like, I don't know if this is done. Like, how do you know when something's done?
I think you get a feeling when something's done, when you feel that like excitement from it, when you feel like, okay, that is to that point where I'm happy. And I think the most important thing is to know when you're happy with your project. For me, I always I'm quite aware that I just use my voice as my instrument,
Yeah.
and everything's in my head. I don't play an instrument. So when I go into the studio, I can hear what I want. And it's that process. And until I've got that from my head into the finished mastered piece, I'm like, okay. So psychedelics have 3 masters
Wow.
where I've gave it time and I've breathed with it. And I'm like, little things, little changes. And I'm like, okay, when I'm happy, because it's so important to feel happy about your project.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't rush. I'm like a great believer of not rushing.
Yeah.
I believe that there's the ultimate timing for everything that you do in life. So I've sat on this song since January. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So that's quite a long time. I've written other songs as well for the
Yeah.
album, but yeah, this one in particular has been a long process. But yeah, it's paid off.
Oh yeah, my gosh,
Yeah, I hope.
definitely.
I love it. Yeah.
Definitely. Awesome work. Amazing, amazing job. I'm curious, now that you said you're working on, like, for your album, what is, if you don't mind, sharing a little bit about it, like, what do you like, what do you want people to walk away with after listening to your album when you release it?
I want them to walk away with power, knowing that they can do and achieve anything that they put their mind to. The album is called 1111,
Nice.
which means the universe is listening. So it's just really people just get out of their dark hole and start living, move away from social media as such, like, and really just find who they are as a person and the uniqueness that they own, because we're all so individual. There's only one of you, and it's to have that embracement and feeling like, okay, anyone can do this. That it's quite, yeah. I just feel like people need to be empowered so much.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like that's so beautiful. Like, because, you know, music nowadays, it's like, and I love that because unfortunately, and there's nothing wrong with talking about, you know, money and, you know,
Mm,
whatever, women, but that's what music is nowadays. It feels like it's so saturated with that, like the mainstream. That's all you hear is that same kind of message. So I commend you for like, you know, be like just, you know, putting something positive out in such a time that we're living in. I think people really need to hear that. So
yeah.
it's super important.
Yeah, it's super important. Yeah. And I don't have like I feel like with my album, there's not love songs. I've not been writing love songs. Um,
Ah,
and I don't know like if that's like coincidental or it's just happened that way, but they're all songs about life.
I love that.
And yeah, so I feel like, yeah, the energy with the album that I'm writing would just make people realize there's more to life than, bad breakups and stuff, like, which you hear quite a lot, which is not a bad thing. But for me, I don't have any of them experiences, so I'm not going to write about it. Like, I've been single for so long, I'm like past that bit of my life. But yeah, so I just love the whole uplifting energy. And I feel like
Yeah.
people need to find more of them inner selves rather than being something that they're not. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, especially women, like I commit, like that's awesome to, you know, that we need that empowerment. You know, everybody does, but you know, I think, you know, women, like I think we're so, like you said, it's relationship is what we like to
Mm.
talk about or share. It's like it's not all that we are. And we're
Mm.
not, you know, identity is not wrapped up in a relationship. It's actually finding, you know, who we are first.
Yeah,
And then, you know, you can live that outwardly, you know.
exactly. Yeah. And it's the same with my video. So I had Aline Powell featured in my music video.
Nice.
And yeah, and the Lennox brothers done the post and production for it. And
Awesome.
I said to Aline, I said, would you like to direct it? It's her first ever like video, like she's
Um,
directed. And to have that, like, it was like this energy of like women's power. Like, I'm thinking I've gave her an opportunity, like she's gave me an opportunity. And that feeling when that happened and when we saw the video, it was like, wow, she took a chance on me, like I've took a chance on her. And I just think it's such a beautiful thing to get other people like involved in your creativity. Yeah, like, because that it was meant to have happened like that.
oh, yeah, a
Yeah.
1000%. I'm such an advocate for women. Like I love men. Don't get me wrong. I love them. They're great. I work with a lot of men in the industry that I'm in, but when I have like the position when I can be in a position to help or uplift, I try to get another woman like because if you know they always say, you know, you hear that narrative, oh, I want to see things change. It's like if we want to see change, we have to be that change, right?
Mm,
And so
exactly.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really, really cool. So, as far as like music, have you ever thought about putting your music like in a film? Like, do you want to like cross over and do like movie soundtracks or, I mean, like, is it just sky's the
Absolutely.
limit?
Absolutely. Yeah, like 100%. I've got a song called Marilyn.
Ah,
Yeah, it's very out like spacey. And I always, when I've been writing it, and it's actually finished now, I'm like, I would love this to be like in a film, like, yeah, some sci-fi film would be awesome.
ooh.
Yeah, I always like to think like outside the box with everything. I'm like, okay, so certain beats that I would use, I'm like, yeah, this would work in a film. Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
fun question. If you
Mhm.
could perform with any artist, living or dead, or collaborate with any
Mhm.
artist, living or dead, who would it be and why?
It would be, if he was still alive, David
Living.
Bowie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
Nice
just,
one.
he's
Good
so
one.
unique. Like, yeah, I think his whole persona when he was on this earth was just fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah, he
was
reinvented himself all the time, and yeah, great inspiration.
definitely.
Living, yeah, living Mick Jagger.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
His stage presence is like phenomenal,
Oh
in
yeah.
my opinion. So yeah.
That's awesome. So, now that we're living in the time, like time has changed, AI is here. Everyone's talking about, oh God, AI, it's gonna take over our jobs. Like, everything is changing. How do you feel as far as like the music world in that sense with AI being around? Do you think it's different now? Do you think that it's gonna be like, is it harder, or do you think it's still like as far as like the future of music now that
Mm,
AI is around?
yeah, do you know what? That's a hard question I've not really thought about. I don't think I want to really think about it. To me, it kind of scares me a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel
But
that. I feel that. I mean, I think it's interesting. I think it's
is it,
yeah, no, like I always think about iRobot or something, and like, I know it's a movie, but like the concept of like, yeah, we're definitely moving into that world of like the future of like things are gonna be like, AI is practically, you can write a song in like within minutes.
yeah.
It's crazy. It's like how do you
Yeah.
it's a difficult business that we're in, but it's like I find it fascinating. It's gonna just kind of like just be such a
Mm.
it's just like a faster pace. I don't know, music
Yeah.
wise.
That's why it scares me, because if a robot thing like can do that in 10 minutes when someone else that hasn't got that power to do that in 10 minutes, like that scares me. Like, are we going to be out of business of musicians and artists? Like, what?
Nah,
I
I
don't
don't
want to
think
think about
so.
it.
I
No,
don't
I
think
don't
so.
think so.
Nah,
No.
nah, nah. I mean, they can't perform. You know what I mean? I mean, you
No.
have, you'll be fine. You'll be fine because you're super talented. Super talented.
Oh,
Definitely.
thank you.
What keeps you motivated to do what you're doing, to keep doing it, even like in the tough times?
It's just staying true to myself, really. It's the only thing that keeps me grounded. So as long as I'm feeling grounded, like, so yeah, that's what motivates me, is to feel that purpose that I have for life.
Yeah,
So yeah,
love that. I love that.
yeah.
So I like to ask this question of every guest: the
Mhm.
three levels of influence, money, power, or respect. And if you can choose one of those things, which
Mhm.
one would you choose and why?
I would choose, so it was money, power, or respect.
Yes,
I would choose respect.
I love that.
Yeah, 100% respect. Yeah, yeah.
Why
No other
respect?
way. Because I would love to be an ambassador
Mm,
for many things, and to have that respect from people for doing that, as well as my music. You can't put a price on that. So it have
absolutely.
respect, 100%. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Have you performed your song yet by any chance? Have you got to perform it yet, or are you
Not
getting ready to
yet.
do it? Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm just about to go into the studio
Nice.
this week and doing an acoustic version. So a
Oh,
real
wow.
stripped back raw version of the song, which is going to be cool.
That's exciting. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
Uh, what's next for you? Like, what do you want as far as like your career? What do you want it to take you? Like, what do you want in this journey? What do you want out of it?
I want to travel the world and perform.
Yeah.
If I could do that for the rest of my life, then I would love to do that. And like I said, to be an ambassador for so many different things. Yeah, and to have my own record label one day. I would just, yeah.
Record label. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. You
But
want
for
to you
like,
want to take over.
but I want to do it for charity, really. I want to set up
Okay.
like a charity and getting like young people to come in, have the experience, and like doing a charity song to raise money for like other charities.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so like a non-profit thing would be, yeah, a beautiful thing that I want to achieve
That's
for long
beautiful.
run. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Have you and I'm curious, and you don't have to, share any stories,
Mm,
but if you have any, but like as far as like myself as a female in the business that I'm in, I work with a lot of men, and I've had a lot of obstacles along the way of like getting jobs done, or like hurdles I had to climb,
mm.
because it's like such a male dominated industry. Do
Yeah.
you feel like the music world is changing for women?
I like to think it is, and I have seen like and heard of a few changes. In my experience, I can only go by my experience because I don't know, but I've had a lot of um just like bad things that
Oh,
have happened with regards to other like labels that I've worked with, where there've been male influences involved, and how underestimated and undermined I have felt as
mm,
being a female artist. I like to think that it won't happen to anyone else because it's devastating.
yeah.
But I do believe that we're into this generation now where I feel like women are having more equal abilities. So I feel like we are being more empowered as women. But I think we should all just be treated equally, really.
I agree.
100%. Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I mean, it's one of those things, like I love the business, but there is that side. And I think the way to change it is that we just talk about it more, and share, and a safe space, and share that experience, and hopefully, the more that we talk about it and I guess expose it, things are slowly changing.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I mean, one can hope.
Yes.
One
Yeah.
definitely could hope. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But any advice? What advice would you give to somebody that wants to get into this business of music? What does that look like for you?
Okay. Any advice? Hold your power. Don't let anyone take your power. So I always visualize before anything that I do with regards to my music. I visualize a little ball in my hand of like an energy ball,
Oh,
and I always feel it. And if I can visualize it, I know that I'm holding my power for that day and whatever I'm about to achieve. So find that inner power. Don't have an ego. No one likes someone with an ego, and just live life. Give it all you go. Like, think outside the box. Doesn't matter how crazy it is. And it's okay to mess up. We're only human.
yeah.
So yeah, just live life. Don't stop worrying about stress, and just, yeah, hold your own power and self-worth.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. Hold your own power and self-worth. That that's what I'm using that for today. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Seriously, that is so important, and that's really good to remember. Hold your own power. Yes, I love it. I love it. Have you always been this I don't know, confident? Where do you get it from? If like have you I mean, I'm just curious, how do you like
Yeah.
how are you so confident? I love it.
Actually, I'm not that confident.
What?
No, no, I don't think every day, like, we're, yeah, like I said, we're only human. We all have days where we don't feel confident, but I think it's my passion that holds that confidence in me.
Yeah.
Is the passion of my music and what I want to live for, which makes me confident. But every day, I'm like, I get nervous just like everyone does. But like I said, it's to do with self-power and knowing your worth. And that's took many years for me to start feeling that, really. Yeah, it's something that I'm working on. And I think I will forever work on that confidence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a journey, right? And until I think that we're all on, right? Of like just putting our best foot forward, and
Mm.
helping for the best. I mean, and try to better ourselves each and every day. So it's never like a moment like you're like, okay, I've arrived, I got it. Like, I don't know. I like, for me, I feel like as I get older, like I'm always learning something, like something else. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I got to learn something else. It's just like this continuation of growth.
Yeah,
It's uncomfortable, but it's definitely necessary for sure.
yeah, yeah. And I think it's okay not to have too much confidence.
Yeah.
I think that's such a beautiful thing. And I think we underestimate the power of not having that much confidence. Because if someone's that confident, then why? Like, what's the, like, I don't get it. I like to feel like nervous. I love that feeling of feeling nervous.
Yeah.
So before I go into a studio, before I go in front of a camera, I love it.
Yeah.
Like that. It's the same feeling. If you can turn that nervous into adrenaline and feeling okay, this, because really, confidence and not feeling confidence it comes hand in hand. It's the same feeling.
Definitely.
Yeah, you still get that same feeling and vibrations running through your body. So just switch it because it's only your mind telling you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
It's very
yeah.
interesting how that works. Very interesting how that works. I'm
Yeah.
curious, throughout our journey, for me, I have a lot of mentors and people that I look up to that that I could call, when I'm having a bad day, even in this for this business, I just think it's really, really important to have. But is there something that someone said to you that kind of like basically sticks with you, whether it's a quote or saying, like that still sticks with you to this day? And what is that, if you don't mind sharing?
Okay, so I think that's, yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. Question here, right now I'm gonna be nervous.
No, don't be.
Hold a quote as such, but I feel like I have that one person, like you have your mentors and stuff. Like for me, like it's my mum. She's
Oh,
always been there from day one. She's seen the highs and the lows.
love that.
And when there's Kayleigh, just remember you're so unique. You've got to embrace that uniqueness. And I think she said once, not everyone's gonna love you. You're like, but it doesn't matter because there's someone out there that will. And I think, yeah, so I don't have a specific quote, but when I need that bit of advice and that someone to fall back on, it has to be my mum because, yeah, she's just like the best supporter I think I'll ever have and always will have.
Oh, that's beautiful. Ah, I love that. Shout out to mom.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Where can people find you on social media to just follow your musical journey, and then just check out your awesome music video, by the way? Yeah.
Yeah, so my music video is on YouTube. Yeah, so it's Kayleigh Walker. Yeah, and on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Kayleigh Walker. Yeah, just
Nice. Love it. So what's the point of Twitter? I don't understand Twitter.
no,
I'm
I
not sure.
no, I've got Twitter. I think I've got one post. I don't
Okay.
really know. I don't get Twitter.
I
To me,
don't either.
it can be a bit too
Yeah. Yeah.
political. I can't say the word properly. Oh my god. I can't even speak English. Um, yeah, so yeah, I don't really use it that much, but I'm on there.
I love it. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing your journey. And I'm just super excited for all that you have coming out. And I mean, kudos to you, and congrats on your music video drop. And I mean, it's awesome. I wish you all the best, and definitely come back in the future.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. You're so lovely. Thank you.
Of course, of course. And
Oh,
thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time.